In this first example, we need to sketch the parent function for a quadratic function, and it's also described as being parabolic. So this is going to look like a sort of U-ish, but the word we really use is parabolic. It's going to look something like this, like curved or rainbow, some people say. The parent function is just the simplest form of this, and so the parent function will be f of x is equal to x squared. Move this up just a touch so you can see the bottom of the graph there. I don't think we're going to be too concerned with that on this one, as you'll see soon. So there's no value being multiplied, there's nothing being added inside by the x or outside over here, and this is just the simplest form of this type of function. It's called quadratic because if you have to find the area of a square with a side of x, you multiply x times x and get x squared, so that's where the quad comes from. Seems kind of confusing because it seems like you'd be talking about something raised to the fourth power, but this is actually just raised to the second power. One thing I like to do is make a table. This works all the time. And I like to pick good values of x. So the domain here, the values of x, I'm just going to choose some representative values. These aren't the only values. These are just some representative values to help us to get the shape of this thing down right. The more values you pick, the more points you're going to have, and the better your graph is going to look. So if you're having trouble seeing the shape or getting the shape down correctly, just plot some more points and you'll get that down. For f of x, we're simply going to substitute in here and see what happens at f at -2. Always use parentheses when you're substituting. You'll notice that -2 squared, the quantity of -2 squared, is -2 times -2, which is 4. So the corresponding output is 4. If you prefer to think of f of x as y, obviously here it does say y for the y-axis. This is also the f of x axis if you want, or the outputs. You can think about it as y as well. We'll do f at -1. That's -1 squared, which is +1. F at 0 is going to be 0 squared. That's 0. And you'll notice that when we square a negative or square its positive value, we actually wind up with the same thing, which is kind of why it's U-shaped. So that's going to be a 1, and I'm not even going to do the 2. I know that 2 squared is 4. You don't have to write this all out. The goal is for you to be able to recognize these values and graph them immediately. Also, sketch means by hand. So let's plot these together. -2, 4. -2, 4 is right here. -1, 1. 0, 0. 1, 1. And 2, 4. And we now have that shape that we expect. Please note that this kind of has that U-shaped bottom. It's not a U really, because a U would have straight sides up and down eventually, but this does not. The right side continues to grow, and the left side continues to grow to the left. When we graph this, we need to make a nice U shape, so I like to start right here at this bottom piece. Try to connect those in a nice U shape. We're going to connect these with a slight curve, and we're going to continue up like this. It's a decent parabola right there. Is it perfect? No, but it's a sketch. It's to be done by hand. And so our goal is to show this type of shape as best as we can with that U-shaped bottom. It definitely should not be a V. And also, when we graph this function, we need to make sure that the right side continues to grow to the right and the left side continues to grow to the left.